Hi, welcome to Relate. It's a content format by Content Radar. And today we have our fourth episode with Alexej Habinski, who is a fractional CMO and who's seen it all in scale ups and hypergrowth startups. Everything in regards to marketing, how to structure the team, how to step up the game when the companies are growing. But he also knows earlier stage days, which we focus on right now. So, welcome, Alexej. Please introduce yourself, and yeah, let's take it from there.
Hi, Katja. Great to be here. Great intro. So I grew up professionally at Rocket Internet, which is a company which launched, scaled 100 and more companies at the same time. So it was all about scaling business models that work. And it was a great time. And I joined a company called Foodora, which is a food delivery service. And we scaled it from less than 1 million euro revenue to 500 million. Great ride. And I learned a lot. And I was running the marketing department there, both for consumers and for riders, the couriers, the ones delivering the food actually. And since then, I work with a lot of different companies, different business models, different areas, B2C, B2B. And I saw that there are some mistakes that repeat and some things that work everywhere. So I found some patterns, and that was very exciting to see.
How many people were in the marketing team at Foodora when you joined?
When I joined, was 8 people.
Mm.
And I think in the end we had like 100 plus people around 20 countries. The budget allocation spreadsheet was very, very big every month. It was very exciting to scale the team and also to improve the systems so that worked like a clockwork.
Yeah, and probably across different time zones as well, and combining the myriad of different tools. I mean, it's been a while, like quite a few years ago, but still. What do you think? Did the marketing tool stack improve since those Foodora days? Did it improve a lot? What are you still missing? In your tool set as a CMO?
Yes, interestingly, back then we needed to build a lot ourselves. We had big problems with attribution, everything around project management, content marketing, design, creators, tracking. We need to really be cutting edge and inventing the tools. We were also actually kind of inventing hyperlocal marketing. So how do you market something that's online, physically, locally? And nowadays there are a lot of SaaS solutions for all of those areas, which is great. But basically the needs are more or less the same now that just tools for almost everything, which we built ourselves back then.
Yeah. So, and is there something that you're still missing nowadays when when you consult the companies you're working with?
Yeah. So if you talk about hyperlocal marketing, then what is still difficult is to people buy in a shop, for example, and then how do you connect whatever do you do in online? How do you connect that to what is happening in the shop? I think that's something that's still unsolved. That's a very exciting challenge. On the other hand, I think what's also missing is to have a really good let's say cockpit, like a CMO cockpit, where you basically see the whole growth model, the whole revenue system. What is the input? What is the output? What are all team members working on? I think there's still not really a good tool for that. So what happens is that the CMO pull data from a lot of different sources, are overwhelmed, and then they don't really have a bird's eye view. And then the CEO asks, and then the CMO doesn't have really the data to show what's happening.
Yeah. So the ultimate mission control is missing. And what do you mean by input? So you would input the budget, or
So
the
inputs, I think
output would
that
be like the yeah.
so output is clear, right? So new customers or revenue conversion rates. What's the input? The input is either budget or the stuff that is being done. So for example, creating posts. For example, if it's sales, it's doing outreach. So the actual activity of people. For example, if you do paid social, then it's the amount of creatives that have been created. So that's the input. So it's both the budget that you get from the media tools, but also the activity itself from the people. That's the input, and then this is being converted into the output. And because it's so different across every initiative or channel, it's so different what is being done. It's difficult to bring it all together into one ultimate cockpit.
Yeah. How is it being handled right now? Is it like long Excel spreadsheets, or is it a combination of tools that allows for that?
Yeah. So coming from Rocket, I thought that everyone has their own super spreadsheets and somehow they're managing it. But unfortunately, the tools is different. They just don't look at it from bird's eye level. They focus on the execution, on the doing. And then what I do is I basically say, let's start manually. Yeah? Let's just start manually collecting the data and have on a monthly or a daily, weekly level. And then when people have this kind of view the first time, then already it makes click and then decisions are taken. So because it's so complex, people don't look at the data. They just focus on the doing itself.
Yeah, like you are rather in the operational mode or in the analytical mode. But as a CMO, you have to do both, and you have to
Yes.
justify your own efforts, and you have to tell your boss or the founders what your team is actually doing and what the results are. And how do you find the liaison between marketing and sales? Because I mean, they kind of work, they have the same goal, right? So winning new customers, and marketing is doing a bit of top of funnel and maybe mid of funnel, maybe some performance marketing as well. But then, the B2B startups, there is also a sales team that kind of takes over their warm leads and has to close them. So how does that work?
Yeah, that's difficult almost every company. But I think the reason for that is that the system is not set up in a way that marketing and sales needs to work together. So the incentives are very different. So if sales is incentivized by sales, so revenue basically closing, they focus on sales and closing, and then they want to have, of course, good leads. But marketing usually is not incentivized on revenue. Often they don't have any any bonus structure, or so they incentivize basically to keep their job, which means that they try to do what they're good at. They try to just continue, and doesn't matter whether it's actually helping sales. And this leads, of course, to a lot of friction between sales and marketing. But if you then ask salespeople, what is your wish list for marketing? They tell you a really long list, which would be very easy to execute for marketing, but this communication doesn't even happen. So what I do is I set up cross-functional revenue teams, where basically all of the team has the same target, the same revenue goal, the same conversion goals. And then it's a team effort to come together and think, okay, how can everyone contribute to those goals? So, for example, one partner I work with, they did marketing, product, and sales all together. Did a customer journey workshop, where they started with the customer journey before even the first touch point. So what happens in the minds of the customers? It ends with the second year when the extension is done, and they map their whole customer journey. Customer success actually was the fourth team, and after this version I was like, wow, now it makes so much sense and so easy what we need to do now. So I think that's really key, to bring them together by having the same goal for all of them, so they don't fight against it, but they actually work together.
Yeah, so it's making them feel as the same team, making offsites, team building activities, workshops, but also putting them on the bonus structure, the whole team, right? If possible. Can be tricky. Yeah.
I mean, sometimes bonus is difficult, but at least there needs to be a team goal, right? So they need to feel responsible. So I'm not sure about just bring them together. They need to wake up and okay, so how can I support this goal? And it needs to be the same as the sales one. And then bonus structure is one of the ways to get there. But I think it's about having the right target for the marketing team. And it is not leads, it's not awareness, it needs to be sales. different time horizons, of course, but it needs to be revenue ultimately.
Okay. Yeah, I think that's the eternal debate, right? How to create this attribution and how actually to, yeah, what brings sales, what leads to sales immediately, and how long does it take? And like in this podcast, we explore a lot a topic of content marketing, which got like so popular for B2B companies, and like it's growing, so the trend is upwards. And yeah, how do you see that? Do you see companies doing it more? Do you see some gaps in the current tool stack? How does the link to sales work in that area?
Yeah. So the content marketing is one tactic, like many others. So I like to start from the customer. So what does the customer need? And often in more complex products, there are questions about trust in terms of the company, trust in terms of can this product actually solve my problem? And yeah, you can talk to a salesperson from your company, but also the salesperson wants to sell you, so it's not so easy. So you want to make up your mind, and you need to help with that because you don't have the information. So I think content marketing is a great way to achieve this. Right? So you can create trust. You can explain how other companies use it. Testimonials are great. Or also, if it's about creating awareness and getting leads itself, then content marketing can also help, but a different one. So if you want to attract a new new people, then it cannot be that much about the product itself. It needs to be about their problems. And low in the funnel, it can be more about the product and other customers. So content marketing is a tactic like many others, but if you use it strategically at the right points in the customer journey, it can have huge impact.
Yeah, and what would you say if we like imagine kind of the pie chart and it's like 100%, it's like the whole like marketing mix. What's the percentage that content marketing takes roughly in
I think it depends
effort
on the
wise? Yeah.
business. Yeah, I think it really depends. So it depends on the stage that you're in. It depends on the market that you're in. So the fewer customers are in your market, the more you should do content marketing. So if you have 1,000 customers only, then it makes sense to invest on content marketing. If you have like millions of potential customers, it's not that, it can be less important. Number one. Number two is if you're just starting out, I would focus on sales and outreach. But if you already have a lot of customers and you want to scale, then it makes a lot of sense because then you can basically multiply your sales effort with content marketing. Yeah. So the bigger you are,
So for enterprise sales,
exactly. So the bigger the ticket size, the bigger the contract value, and the older you are the more mature you are as a company, the more you should invest in content marketing.
yeah, that probably makes sense. This morning I read on a LinkedIn blog there are recommendations how to structure content marketing. So they tell you it's like a 3-2-1 rule. So 3 should be industry related news, like whichever sector you're in. 2, social proof, basically your clients' statements and quotes, and 1 can be like your own product launch or feature launch or something like that. Would you agree to that?
I didn't hear about that rule, but it sounds
Yeah.
like a good rule. Yeah, I mean, so you need to build a lot of value, and then you can ask for the sale. So it needs to be a good ratio. So it sounds like a good one.
But first, like education, build a good foundation, and then I guess the tricky part is actually to track. Okay, what converted into sales? Like, what did it bring, and also to orchestrate it all.
So so if you use it strategically in the customer journey, it makes it much easier to track. So for example, if you use LinkedIn and create posts, then yeah, it's easier to track, especially if people reach out directly to you, or if you ask them the lead form, how did you hear about the company. So I think there's some ways to track, for example, if it's an awareness stage, if it's if it's supporting the sales process, Then you can, as a salesperson, you can ask, like, did you read something about the company recently? Like, was there anything that we had? So, depending on the stage, there are ways to have a proxy for the impact of content, and it's necessary because otherwise you have no clue about the impact. Yeah, that's why I'm a big proponent of going stage, having a customer journey specific strategy, like based on the stage, because then it's much easier to track the impact. And I think again, if you can, like, you need to have at least some proxies. Otherwise, it's very, very difficult to justify the investment as a CMO. So if you're if you work on content and try to make your CMO's lives a little bit easier and try to collect the proxy data for the impact, because ultimately every dollar needs to have impact and more impact than the dollars not spent.
Every dollar, every hour, like, spent on tasks. And so basically inquiring people, where did you hear about us, like in a sales conversation or on the sign up form? Yeah, makes sense.
Or what you read? What did you read from us?
Okay.
Because then you can also know what exactly drove we have 50 content pieces, but if they're like 1, 2, 3 that are always mentioned, then you know, okay, this is actually what drove a lot of value, and then you can maybe repeat those ones.
What's the topic? Yeah, what's trending? Yeah, that's a good one. With Content Radar, we're trying to automate all that, so you don't have to send out like the questionnaire, the survey to the user. So ask them in the call. But so we are on that journey, and we as we're doing this as a super short format, we are almost like run out of time. Maybe a closing thought on the future of marketing. How do you envision it? Do you think the mission control you were describing at the beginning of the call will happen soon, or are we still like miles away from something like that?
Yeah. I think ultimately every company that has product market fit and wants to scale needs a system, a revenue system to scale, and marketing is a big part of it. And I think basically, if you won't have a system, you won't be able to scale. And translating the doing in the marketing, which is often very creative and crafty and to really touch people, this needs to be translated into this hardcore numbers system. And if you can do that, I think future is bright. And I'm 100% sure there will be startups and tools solving for that. What's so key?
Yeah, but for now there are spreadsheets. That's a great closing. Yeah.
Great ending. Yeah.
Spreadsheets and building. Thank you, Alexej, for being our guest and for sharing your wisdom. And we'll be in touch. Bye bye.
Thank you. Bye bye.
Okay.